having a seat at the table. So, I mean, the awareness part is in our hands. We need to take interest. I mean, it starts there. Yeah. But then what? Now, these are tricky conversations. These are difficult conversations, especially if you're married and you have in-laws involved and joint ownership of assets. How does one navigate it?
So I think when we talk to our community members today, we have, close to 11 lakh women who are on the platform, who are asking us these questions. And that is actually the top question. How do I frame this? And again, we go back to what Sumaira just said. I think making this right from the early times, saying this is a life skill that you need to learn. Just like you need to learn cooking, budgeting, all of that, this is a life skill. Financial planning is a life skill that you need to know. I think once you have that understanding of saying, okay, I need to now be on the table. And more importantly, I think to be on the table, because one of the things that I also want to add on to your earlier question was that for women, there is a paradigm shift in our lives, right? For example, there was a time when it was, studying and having children and retiring.
Correct.
Today, if you look at women and their lives, there are like mini retirements that we face, right? Every time you have a child, every time you get married, sometimes just out of choice as well. And lifespans increasing.
You want to take a break,
Absolutely. So you need to actually plan for all of this, and which is why a woman needs to come to the table. Because typically, estate planning, wealth planning, or even if you go to middle income or low income households, financial planning or money goals were all around either the male members of the family or the children, because it was like, let's look at family security, right?
Exactly, it was one unit.
Correct.
So we never thought independently.
So we did this Lakshmi Women and Money Power survey. And, stats that are astounding. So the top 3 goals that women thought of when they had money saved was child's education. That's the first goal, right? Then there is the family's financial security, and then it could be travel.
Sure.
But nowhere does her own financial security feature. Her own retirement. We had less than 2% women who were even thinking that I need to think about my retirement. So I think getting all of these, putting this down, coming to the table, putting this down as financial goals, planning for these is very important. I think it is still difficult to, in a lot of family settings for a woman to come to the table and ask questions. A lot is changing, like Neha said, especially in the more mass affluent families. But today, if you go down to, tier 2, tier 3 cities, it is still a very difficult conversation to have. So I think really communicating, putting it out there that these are life goals, how do we plan for it together is very important. And I think the ability of women to now, like I keep saying, agency over the money they earn or the money they save. And one of the very unique features we found on Lakshmi is that women who've saved money, even if they are homemakers, actually have full agency over it. More agency than even, absolutely. They are like, this is my saved money. I decide what I do with it. Even more than working women, because somewhere with working women, time is a, they suffer from time poverty. So what do we do? So it's left to somebody else. Whereas a homemaker is actually smarter today. She's on social media. She's looking at how, she's following a lot of people talking about finance. And she's like, I want to, very aspirational.